Sorry. Hello there, how are you? Right. Next thing I need to do then is I am going to select this, this, that, and that. And isolate everything. Well, nearly everything actually. Could also probably do with that. Actually no, I'll make my own new one. I could do with a new one. Okay, so isolate this lot. Okay, now sorry there's not much fun jollity going on. It's just I need to obviously show you how to get on with this because it's complicated. It's a complicated shape. Well then, I'm going to yawn and scratch. That's what I'm doing. It's good for you. Over here, I'm going to. I wonder if it might be easier just moving some of the geometry over that side. Probably will be. What I'm going to do is take this part here, our piston detail cylinder, and I'm going to just smack that into there like that. Hide this. Okay, and I can now drop down the actual width of this cylinder somewhat, because it was 20, but now it should be 18. And that shall give us that rather nice space all the way around the outside there. And what I'm going to do with this is right click, convert to editable polygon, and I'm going to use this to create a rather nice rounded shape that we're going to need. So first things first, let's get it away from that naughty little edge there. Okay, and now I am going to select this polygon, control select by edge, and I'm going to chamfer this around a little like that, because it does give such a pleasing look. Let's have a look, see what the unevenness of these is. I'll do it again because they weren't quite even enough. There we go, and that rounds out. That's a trick I learnt off an old member of 3D Palace years and years and years ago, a guy called Swirly Chicken. And he used to do tutorials for Lightwave. Really nice bloke. Ended up working in London. Haven't seen or heard from him in years, but like I say, nice guy. Okay, now for this shape, we need to curve this over. So what I'll do is I'll take a bevel and give it a little piece there, and then I'm going to bring it in, and in. Okay, so that gives us that rather nice shape there. Now, I need to cut some shapes into this to make it look better. One of the ways I can do this is to obviously just, you know, boolean the living shit out of it. Another way is to, if I just end isolate and then isolate just this piece. Another way is to actually just build the parts I need into the mesh. You know, delete some parts and just have these come out. So it's entirely up to you the way you want to do it. How I want to do it, or would like to do it rather, would be to have 3 of these pieces here, here, and here. So I think what I'm going to do is, here's my modelling section, as my rather adorable wife calls it, moggling section, and let's just go around and delete the parts around these first. Okay, because these are the 3 bits that I want. Okay, so these. There, there, and there. Like that. Now, what I want to do with these is see if I can straighten them out a little bit and make them fit inside this mesh. So, easiest way to do that will be, I shall rotate this around so I'm looking at the other side, because I'm just in my left viewport, and it saves having to set up the hotkey for the right viewport. Now, I have this one, which I can set straight If I turn off my angle snap, once it gets to there, and this one, like that. Okay, perspective zoom. Now then, what I'm going to do is not bother doing it this way, because frankly it ain't going to work. I'm just going to have to boolean it. I was going to try and avoid doing the booleaning, but unfortunately needs must when the devil farts in your general direction. So for this one I will need some boxes, and I can draw one out like that. And I need to get a nice shape with my boxes, so I'll bring that out to there. Convert to editable polygon, select all the edges, chamfer them a little bit round. So that's one, and then maybe a little bit more. There we go. Two. Okay, so that kind of rounds it at the bottom there. And if I just try and get these into a good position, if there is such a thing. So one there. And I'll have a look and see how that's embedding through. It needs to be quite deep. Okay, so there to there, and I'd better bring that up because it was too high. Now make a copy, one there. And then one there. Just about equidistant. There we go. Now let's see how much of an entertaining mess this makes of our rear piston. I'm going to select the middle one and attach its little chums to it. And before I do anything else, I should also do a quick one level subdivide on that, just to make it look a bit nicer. And then compound object, throw a boolean, and see, I don't want to decimate anything. Make quads, that's an interesting one. Never tried that one before. Let's see what that does. Oh wow, look at that. That's an exciting old shape, isn't it? I can turn off make quadrilaterals, and it'll just do that. That's probably a bit better actually. Very sharp edges still, but it'll do. And planar edge removal. Remove any invisible, no edge removal. There. Alright, now let's convert to editable polygon and see if we can do any form of chamfering without our model exploding, which is quite unlikely because I can see an awful lot of edges. Give it a go. Ooh, it's nasty. 0.05 chamfer works, tick. Hit F4. Okay, that's not too bad. It's better than it could have been, anyway. And Now I've got some room to put some nuts on this. Tee-hee-hee, and isolate. So I shall go over here, and I'm going to grab a couple of bits that I want. So if I go into my object paint, get my list out, and pick, and I'm going to have that and that. So now I've got detail bolt 1 and cylinder 23. So now if I go to here, isolate it again, and I can paint using what's in the list, in theory. I sometimes despair of this thing, you know. And isolate, just in case that's what's doing it. Yeah, it was. How did I guess? Okay, so the next one, I'm going to make these 25. And 1, 2. Here, 4 actually, make it a bit easier. Then I can have one there. Make them a bit smaller. There we go. So I'm going to have one here. And I'm going to have one here. And then over this side. There and there. And my detail bolt, I can put there, I suppose. Actually, I think what might be a better idea for that. I'll just put my detail bolt on that piece of flat stuff there. Okay, now what I can do is take this, make sure I'm moving on the correct axes this time. Come back, put it on the thing. There we go. This will allow me to basically place this in the middle, right about here, where this exciting starburst fellow is going on. Just bring it back until the border starts to vanish. Okay, that's cool. And now what I can do is go into here, and I'm going to select this. No, it's not going to let me select the whole lot, is it? No, it wouldn't be that easy, but I can select this lot, like that, and then attach. Then all I need to do is build a bridge. Like so. Now there's a lot of little broken bits going on there, so I just need to, yeah, look, that will not do. So let's go back to the piece that I deleted, which was that one, and instead see if I can ring this. I can, so that's a help. I ring this. No. How could I guess? Never mind, I'll just use select by polygon. So I'm just going to go like that, and get all those ones in the middle. And it doesn't matter if I've got the ones at the back really, but I'll deselect them anyway. There we go. Now I can delete that, just leaving this exciting star shape. And then attach that, and then I can just border these two together, which creates some truly mad looking shapes actually. It could probably be easier again just to see if I can relax this shape. No, Sometimes it lets you, sometimes it doesn't. I might be able to spherify this shape, I suppose. It's very rare that we actually use any of these modifiers, so it's quite good fun taking them out now and again. There we are, spherify did the trick. And now I can attach the two together, hopefully. Just need to select my edges. 1, 2, bridge. It's better than it was. Considerably better than it was as well. Okay, and now I can attach these two fellas here together. Hit F4 to make sure they are, and they are. Lovely. Okay, now pull back. And yeah, that's not bad. Okay, now what I'm going to do is complain because I accidentally attached that to everything. Doesn't matter. So I'm going to grab these, hold shift, move it that way. Just clone it to an element, that's fine. Rotate it 180 degrees. And then push it back into place again. There we go. So that gives us that shape there now, which is quite nice. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick a smooth modifier on it as well, just to fix any broken edges. And I'll auto smooth it to 24.5. There we go. Little sleeping dog behind me. Right then. This is exciting, isn't it? Convert to the editable poly. And what I have to do now, obviously, is set this piston up so that it kind of looks like it's working. So I'll grab this and this, and I'm going to isolate them. Okay, and now what I want to do, because I've got that pivot there in the right place anyway, is create a helper. Make it a largish one, because I want to be able to see it for both the ones I'm creating. And I'm going to call this the lower leg rear piston helper 01, just so I know what it is. Okay, now I'm going to align this to that. Click OK. Then I'm going to move this one all the way up here, like that, to this dummy. Click OK. Probably move that one actually to about there. Okay, now the actual pivot point on this, if I affect my pivot point, I'm going to align it to this one's. Okay, so at the minute the pivot point's there, and I want to align it to that one. Usually lets me do this. Align to object. Nope. Center to object. And then align. Okay, no, that wasn't the right object, you silly thing. I'll press H, piston detail, name, sort descending, select from scene. He's not wanting to do it, is it? Alright, well, we'll just have to do it this way. So just see what I can do here. What I'm doing is the tried and tested method of basically putting a small marker on the screen. I'm getting the two to line up because for some reason it decided it didn't want to. Okay, that worked, believe it or not, and I'm as surprised as you are. Next, break out of effect pivot only. Make sure all our pivots are obviously correct. Good. Now, what I need to do for this next one then is I'm going to have this look at that helper there. So, again, motion panel. I'm just going to save this as a workbench. And for rotation, assign my look at controller to look at. I don't know, I've got this nagging suspicion actually that I may have copied this wrong. Because this really is being an arse. Okay, I'm going to align that to this. There. Okay then. So I'm going to take my part here and I'm going to make it look at the bottom one first. So, look at constraint, add look at target, this one. And as you can see, it's now looking in completely the wrong direction. That's okay though, we can change the axis we want to look at stuff. And obviously we can flip it as well if we need to. There we go. So now, again, if this moves, that moves. Okay, so now we need to do the same again. This is going to look at the one up there, and again we can change the axis we're using to look at, and right click out. Okay, now unhide all. Perspective zoom, and at the moment this needs to be linked to this little fella here. This little fella needs to be linked to that. Now then, this one, oh my god, what has happened there? Stupid things have happened there, that's one. Right, let's fix this first. There, it's gone. Thank goodness. Bizarrely enough. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, as I say, just link this one. Use the link tool to this. Okay. And I'm not actually using this one, it was just being a pain in the arse, so I killed it. So now I should be able to move this in a little bit. There we go, and as you can see it's angling in, which is kind of what I need. Now I'm going to move this out of the way, and that. So I should be able to bring that in. Bring it in a bit more. And it's just kind of sitting over the top of this anyway, so I don't think I'm going to need to cut into that in the slightest, which is a help. So I'll get rid of that. Because I keep changing the layout of the things and stuff. Now we've got some spare bolts that obviously got placed and never used, so they can go away. Okay, F4 just to look at our piece. And yeah, that isn't bad. That is not bad at all. I think I may reward myself with a tomato soup just yet, because that's what you do, you reward yourself with tomato soup. Right then, oh goodness me. What I'm going to do is just have a quick check of my leg, just kind of like a walk around, so hide this lot. Notice I'm not using layers at the minute simply because I'm not. Okay, so foot's looking okay. Be able to tell if it works or not by whether this breaks the system. Turn, angle, snap off. Oh, look at that. Is that not beautiful? Give you a clue, it really is. Working the way it should. Now then, this one is slightly off, look, so I think I need to move the actual manipulator rather than this. Okay, apart from that, that is nice. That is very nice. I'm very pleased. That's the lower leg done. So, besides going back and adding more detail if you want to in various areas, it's up to you if you want to do that. This part is about done now. If you recall, we also set up our hierarchies over here, but they are not attached to anything yet, so we can select and link that to there. Okay, just make sure obviously you're doing it via these parts, and that way they'll get moved when your leg moves. I believe the controller for this foot, or the root for this foot, is one of these. I'm not sure which one should be controlling which at the minute. I may have to give it some thought, so I'm not going to ruin it just yet. But if you followed this far, go into your small bucket you keep under your desk and give yourself a shiny, for you have accomplished much, for which you should be very pleased. What's left for me to do after this section is to obviously render out the whips of this to post up, and then I'm going to be starting on the knee, and from the knee I should be going to the upper leg. So if you're still game for a bit of fun, please join us for that bit. Until then, TT FM.